Peanut butter is amazing, right? But wait, did you just eat a cockroach? Yep, tiny insect fragments are actually allowed in our food, all thanks to the FDA's rules. It sounds gross, but it's harmless, and honestly, most people don't even notice. From chocolate to your favorite instant noodles, these little critters sneak in during storage and processing. In this video, we're uncovering 20 bugs you secretly eat every day, and after this, you might never look at your snacks the same way again. 1. Chocolate, cockroach fragments. Your favorite chocolate bar? Yeah, it probably comes with a little surprise. During cocoa processing, cockroach parts sneak in like uninvited party guests, slipping through cracks in warehouses and clinging to cocoa beans before roasting. The FDA says it's fine, up to 60 insect fragments per 100 grams, which sounds like a lot until you realize it's practically impossible to get rid of them all. They're harmless for most people, but if you've got a bug allergy, it might explain that odd reaction to your favorite treat. So next time you bite into that silky, rich chocolate, just remember, you're sharing dessert with a few crunchy co-stars. 2. Peanut butter, rodent hair and insect parts. Peanut butter might be smooth, but behind the scenes, it's crawling with surprises. The FDA allows about 30 insect fragments and 1 rodent hair per 100 grams. How? Blame the storage bugs, mites, beetles, and their many friends, who find peanuts irresistible. By the time the nuts are roasted and blended, their little contributions are part of the mix. It's not dangerous, just a little gross to think about. And yes, it's totally legal. So, the next time you dig into that creamy, nutty goodness and taste an odd crunch, just smile and think, that's extra protein, courtesy of nature. 3. Pasta, grain weevils. Those tiny grain weevils that infest flour mills. Yeah, they're freeloaders who somehow make it into your pasta. During storage, they lay eggs inside wheat kernels, and by the time everything's milled and processed, they're history, but their traces remain. The FDA says it's all good, allowing a few fragments per 225 grams because total removal would mean shutting down pasta production entirely. Thankfully, it's safe, no harm, no foul. But next time you're swirling spaghetti on your fork, remember, you're not just tasting Italian tradition, you're sampling a little bit of natural biodiversity. Buon appetito, bug lovers. 4. Canned tomatoes, fruit flies. That tangy tomato sauce. It might come with an extra topping you didn't order, fruit fly eggs. These pests adore ripe tomatoes, sneaking in during harvest or processing. The FDA doesn't sweat it, allowing up to 10 fly eggs per 100 grams. They're totally harmless and vanish once the tomatoes are cooked, but the idea? Yeah, it's unsettling. So while your marinara bubbles on the stove, just know there's a hint of natural protein simmering in there. Gross? Maybe. But hey, you wanted authentic flavor, and nothing says farm to table quite like a few uninvited guests. 5. Frozen broccoli, aphids. Even the healthiest foods have dirty secrets, literally. Those little green aphids love broccoli so much they cling on even after washing, blanching, and freezing. The FDA gives them a free pass, up to 60 per 100 grams, because honestly, they're almost impossible to remove. Don't panic, they're harmless and packed with protein, if you're into that sort of thing. Still, it's funny how your clean-eating meal might not be so clean after all. Next time you're proudly eating your steamed veggies, just remember, you're getting your greens, and theirs. 6. Coffee borer beetles. Your morning coffee might be doing more than waking you up, it's giving you a little taste of the wild. The coffee borer beetle is one of the bean's biggest enemies, boring into coffee cherries long before they're roasted. The FDA knows it's a losing battle, so trace fragments are allowed. These beetles are harmless, but they do leave their mark, literally. By the time your beans are roasted, ground, and brewed, there's no way to tell what's bean and what's bug. So next time you sip that rich, bold espresso, just remember, a few beetles sacrificed themselves for your caffeine fix. 7. Fig jam, fig wasps. Here's some sweet irony, your delicious fig jam might come with a wasp inside it. Figs rely on fig wasps for pollination, and sometimes the poor insect doesn't make it back out. The fig then breaks the wasp down into nutrients using natural enzymes, leaving no trace of wings or legs behind, just flavor. The FDA doesn't even bother setting a limit, since it's part of the fig's natural life cycle. It's totally safe, but still a little creepy to think about. So next time you spread that jam on toast, just whisper, "Thanks for your service," to the wasp who made it possible. 8. Canned mushrooms, maggots. Mushrooms are earthy, and sometimes a little too earthy. The FDA allows up to 20 maggots per 100 grams of canned mushrooms. Yup, you read that right. Fly larvae find their way in during harvesting or storage, and by the time the mushrooms are cooked, they're just another ingredient. Thankfully, they're harmless and even add a dash of unintentional protein. Still, that thought might make you reconsider your mushroom pizza tonight. It's nature's way of saying, you want it organic, right? 9. Raisins, moth larvae. Those sweet, chewy raisins in your trail mix. They might come with a tiny, wriggly backstory. Pantry moth larvae love dried fruits and can sneak into storage bins before packaging. The FDA allows small traces since preventing every single one would be impossible. They're totally safe, gross, but safe. Still, next time you grab a handful of raisins for a quick snack, remember, some of that chewiness might not be grape-related. A little extra protein never hurt anyone, but maybe you'll start double-checking your granola. 10. Spinach, leaf miners. You know those weird squiggly lines you sometimes see on spinach leaves? That's the handiwork of leaf miners, tiny larvae that tunnel through leaves while feeding. The FDA gives them a pass because removing them entirely would take forever. Luckily, they're completely harmless once washed and cooked, though it's a bit of an appetite killer if you think too hard. So, the next time you blend a green smoothie or toss a salad, just smile and remember, you're sharing it with the true greens of nature's workforce. Before we move on, hit that like button and subscribe if you haven't already, because what's coming next will blow your mind. These next 10 hidden bugs show up in some of your absolute favorite foods, and trust me, you'll never look at your grocery list the same way again. Stick around till the end, you don't want to miss this. 11. Tomato juice, spider fragments. Yep, your tomato juice might come with a touch of the creepy crawly. During harvest, tiny field spiders sometimes end up mixed with the ripe tomatoes. The FDA allows trace fragments since total removal is impossible. It's safe, don't worry, but the thought of sipping spider bits might give you pause mid-Bloody Mary. So next time you raise that glass, just remember, it's not just spicy, it's web-sational. Cheers to protein and poor arachnids that couldn't escape tomato season in time. 12. Frozen berries, thrips. Those vibrant frozen berries in your smoothie bowl come with a tiny surprise, thrips, small winged insects that adore ripe fruit. They cling to berries during harvest, and even industrial washing can't get them all. The FDA allows a few per package since they pose no danger. They're harmless, sure, but not exactly part of your recipe. So next time your blender's buzzing away, just know it might be mixing in a little nature. On the bright side, it's the freshest farm-to-glass experience you can get. 13. Canned corn, corn borers. Corn borers don't just ruin crops, they sometimes make surprise cameos in your canned corn. These little larvae tunnel through the kernels while the corn is still in the field, and some inevitably end up in the factory mix. The FDA allows trace amounts, since completely preventing them would mean no corn for anyone. They're harmless after processing, but the thought of extra texture in your side dish might be tough to swallow. So next time you crack open that can, just remember, those crunchy kernels might come with some uninvited company. Crunch with confidence. 14. Paprika, cigarette beetles. Spices are basically bug magnets, and paprika is no exception. Cigarette beetles love dried plants, so when the peppers are ground, a few fragments can slip in. The FDA allows up to 75 fragments per 25 grams, so yes, your chili has a little extra firepower. Luckily, they're harmless, and you'd never taste them anyway. Still, it's wild to think your vibrant red spice mix might have a few freeloading beetles in there. Adds that mysterious earthy flavor you can't quite put your finger on. Spice of life, right? 15. Instant noodles, warehouse beetles. That instant noodle cup you love after a long day. Yeah, it might include a pinch of protein from warehouse beetles. These bugs sneak into flour storage or packaging areas, leaving behind traces that get cooked right into the noodles. The FDA allows tiny fragments because eliminating them completely is impossible. They're harmless, but it's a funny thought, all that seasoning, MSG, and a dash of nature. So the next time you're slurping noodles at 2 a.m., just remember, you're sharing dinner with a bug or two. Who knew comfort food had such character? 16. Rice weevils. Rice weevils and stored grains are like old friends, inseparable. These tiny beetles lay eggs inside rice kernels, and during milling, some get crushed right in. The FDA says small amounts are perfectly fine because removing them completely would be a full-time job. They're harmless once cooked, and honestly, most people have eaten them for years without realizing it. So next time you're fluffing that perfect bowl of rice, just remember, you're not just eating carbs, you're getting a little side of natural protein. Bon appetit! 17. Bread, flour beetles. Freshly baked bread smells amazing, but here's a twist, that warm loaf might contain a sprinkle of flour beetle fragments. These little guys infest flour mills and sneak through the cracks before baking. The FDA allows up to 75 fragments per 50 grams, which is both shocking and weirdly specific. Don't worry, they're cooked to oblivion and completely safe. So that nutty aroma? It might actually be the bugs. Next time you tear into a crusty loaf, just smile and think, protein never smelled so good. 18. Dried herbs, mites. That Italian seasoning you love might be more authentic than you think. Dried herbs like oregano, thyme, and basil are prime real estate for mites, tiny, nearly invisible critters that feed on plant matter. Even the FDA admits it's impossible to eliminate them entirely, so a few are allowed. They're harmless, but the mental image might spice up your appetite differently. Still, if you taste an extra earthy note in your next pasta sauce, just remember, that's the real Mediterranean experience, bugs and all. 19. Oats, saw-toothed grain beetles. Your wholesome breakfast oats. Yeah, they might come with a crunchy sidekick. Saw-toothed grain beetles are tiny brown bugs that adore stored grains and sneak into bins long before the oats hit your bowl. The FDA says it's fine, trace fragments are totally safe to eat. These uninvited guests get roasted, rolled, and packed right in with your favorite oats. No harm done, though the thought might slow your morning bite. So next time you're stirring that cozy bowl of oatmeal, remember, you're not just getting fiber and protein, but maybe a little extra crunch of nature too. 20. Beer, grain beetles. Beer lovers, brace yourselves, you might owe part of that rich, malty flavor to grain beetles. These little freeloaders love barley and hops, sneaking in during storage and milling. The FDA says a few microscopic fragments in the brew are fine, totally harmless, and almost impossible to avoid. By the time your beer is brewed and filtered, they're just a distant memory, a part of the process, really. So next time you lift that pint, take a sip, and toast not just the brewer's craft, but the tiny bugs that helped give your drink a bit of extra character. And there you have it, 20 bugs you secretly eat every single day. Don't worry, you're still alive, right? If you enjoyed this creepy food reality check, hit that like button, subscribe for more mind-blowing facts, and stay tuned, we're just getting started.